In the second part, Josh Bachynski did show up, so we had a little chat with him about the drama and his own take on
it. Josh, avoiding all the drama crap for now. You want to just highlight for everyone at least, some of the stuff you were talking about in your little whiteboard, and what it led you to it, and what you got out of it. Let's just keep this completely professional for the moment.
Who, me?
Why do I week, buddy? You're having some fun week, are you?
Why is that specifically directed toward? No, just kidding.
Because I haven't got myself in shit lately, so I'll work on that. Don't worry. Anyways, yeah. So you might as well run quickly through it.
Yeah, it's very simple. And to tell you guys the truth, I don't really understand how it got all blown out of proportion. I mean, I can speculate.
I was saying to some of the gang before the show, since Matt left and everything else, it's too quiet out there. There's nothing else to talk about.
Right. There's nothing else going on. Blah, Josh said something. Bleh, people go crazy. I have to disagree a little bit with the methodologies for the disavow. I mean, for manual action, yeah. I mean, you have to delete a bunch of the links and show good faith that you're never going to do it again. And you have to make them believe you. And then disavowing the rest is good. I have it on pretty good authority from Google that they will use the disavow actually in negative SEO situations where the manual team is not sure if you made these links or not. If you put them in the disavow file, they go, oh, okay.
That's a headache. When I was talking to Matt with a case last year because the person in question also had a fairly prominent Google Play account, and their account manager was involved, and it talked to Matt, et cetera, et cetera. And again, this was 20,000 or more links on a profile of 1.5 mil. The cost alone of just tracking all those down, vetting them, and then, getting them into a disavow thing was just crazy for a guy who did nothing, So at the time, at least Google, for their part, said, okay, we'll keep an eye on it, but that doesn't go for every Joe Blow out there. Sometimes the scale of it can be so large with native SEO, it's a problem, man. Because what is the person looking to do? They're costing you resources. This would cost, the link tool just to watch for this shit each month with his link profile being that big would have cost him probably $500 a month. Someone to vet and keep an eye on that list every month, just proactively, probably another $1,000. So they're hurting his bottom line. $1,500 a month, $15,000 a year, just to be proactive against negative SEO. Christ. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, I see it all the time. I have customers coming all the time. I have friends that happens to them all the time. So let me break it down. So originally in the Moz article, this is all I was saying. All I'm saying is that there's a bunch of people out there who claim that a pure disavow works to remove Penguin from your site. So ignoring everything else, negative SEO, ignoring all that, unless it's Penguin-based, ignoring the manual penalty stuff. There's people out there, I'm not going to name who they are, but there are people out there who are selling, there's companies out there too who are selling a pure disavow solution. They say all you have to do is disavow, you don't have to delete any links. They brag about it on Twitter, they brag about it in various spaces. And so I said, okay, I don't think this works. Matt Cutts told me specifically it wouldn't work to my face. He said it wouldn't work. We don't want to allow people to just disavow and get out of it. They have to delete some links, so if they do a combination of deletion and disavow, then maybe it'll work, blah, 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 blah. I don't trust anything Google tells me. So that Matt said this, and that John Mueller has also said to my face that, yes, you can just disavow. It's irrelevant. It's totally beside the point. We need to do as much empirical testing in our industry as we can do, which is, is not very much. But we do have some tools at our disposal. So everyone, at the time I made the video, it was around 12 sites I tested, 12 different people. Said that, oh, pure disavow works, look, here it is. I said, okay, what's the URL?
Well, which is your first problem. The nice data set question will come out.
Sorry?
I said that there's the first thing that happens is because everyone's going to go 12 sites, not much of a data set. So.
Well, it's 12 separate experiments.
Well, no, I hear you. I've got, I've been doing this for 4 years as far as forensic stuff, and in that time, maybe, I don't know, Terry, 50 sites?
Yeah, I wouldn't base my
entire experience as a forensic SEO might be 50 sites.
That involved 12 sites that I was not totally familiar with, Josh. I'm sure you agree with that as well.
Oh, definitely, more sites would be better. I'm not saying that's enough sites. All I'm saying is that, here's the problem, though. I agree with you entirely, but see, I'm not the one making the positive claim. They're the one making the positive claim. 12 separate people have come to me and said, I did a pure disavow, and it worked. I say, bullshit. I check the backlink profile on Majestic or SEO or Kemper's tools. Pick any tool you want. I check it on that tool, and they've had link loss. They've had link deletion. And so I say, I'm sorry, but you're not in a position to say that you did a pure disavow. I am perfectly open-minded and willing to accept that a pure disavow could work as soon as somebody can show me that that has actually happened. And it's
Dude's got his hand up.
Josh, in regards to that, every cleanup I've done, at least 20% of the sites were shut down, meaning shuttered, links dead, links gone. So I agree with you there. Now, I was so pissed about that article and all the nonsense around it, didn't really read it, because I knew you didn't believe.
Well, it's a video. It's a video, not an article. It's a video.
I'm sorry, I couldn't make out the last thing Terry said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll slow it down. I didn't believe for a minute that you believe that just adding content was all you had to do. I don't think you really believe that.
No, of course not.
And yet, everybody who talked about it seemed to imply that that's what you were saying.
I know. Well, this is how it's gone completely out of hand. I've been threatened physically. People have said that I went on a Moz and I tried to sell some kind of snake oil 2-day solution. People have said that I said you can't disavow at all. People have said that I sold my mother into slavery. People have said all different kinds of things.
Got
People
the
are 25 years old. That was nice. That was a compliment. I appreciated that. I'm not 25 years old. I didn't graduate high school in 2007. I got my master's degree in 2007. People have been stalking my Facebook.
Yeah, okay, so I think a part of it's to the Moz. It's the Moz, and I think, what time is it? 1:40. We'll digress a little bit. And Debra, did you want to jump in here with me, because I'm going in with both feet? I think this has come up before, and I've known you for a while, so maybe I don't judge as quickly, and I'll think about it deeper. But there's been people in the past where I've jumped. I remember that young linker kid a couple years ago, boys. What was his name? I forget about it.
Cooper.
John Cooper. Yeah, I kind of went mental on that one. So I think there's an element in here as well, Josh, that it's brought about the whole authority discussion, meaning authoritative sites like the Moz or Search Engine Land or wherever. And when people say things on there, it becomes treated as gospel, regardless if you meant it that way originally, or if you were just trying to, you forgot the platform you were on and forgot to premise it with, this is just my theory, but it does run like that. And because of location, if you had done it on some no-name blog or somewhere, I don't think the reaction would be anywhere near the same. So I think there is a high element in this of, okay, wait a minute. So the Moz is saying that this is the way it is now, and then obviously people are going to dispute that claim and whatever. So I think the platform where you did it also is what stirred up some of the emotions that have been going on.
True.
Absolutely.
Those guys don't react well when you challenge their beliefs.
That too.
When you challenge their beliefs, they get rattled. Because they then have to evaluate everything they've taken from that place.
You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly
it. So, by the way.
Yeah. At the end of the day, so I'm going to talk about in general what I think about Disavow in a second. But at the end of the day, for Moz, I fully admit I did something controversial. I outed people who I thought were doing something unethical, either from gross negligence or from actually being sneaky. And I went against the doctrinal position. So that's going to piss off two different groups who are going to go out of their way to vilify me at that point.
Well, actually,
I think there's a point. Again, I'll let them.
Wait, guys. They vilified me. Like, if you read these other articles, they're clear, transparent attacks against my character.
Reacted to some of it. Anyways, Deb, go ahead.
Well, I don't think anybody was outed. Nobody was named. There were no names named. There were just comments that were made, innuendos that were made. And I think if you're going to do that and say that someone's doing this and you think it's wrong, then it should be either postured as opinion or you need to be able to prove it. That on top of the fact that down in the comments, There were too many times that those Moz moderators had to come in and remove something edited for personal attacks. When a conversation is allowed to get to that level, it loses any value that it imparted initially. And that's what people focus on. I mean, look at the drama. That's what people focus on. That's why we have TMZ and those horrible Kardashians. So, I'm not equating it.
I love the internet.
Yeah, I understand, but that's not what Moz's whiteboard is about. And people go there to learn and to have quality given to them. They want to be able to walk away with a piece of knowledge, and what they got was a clusterfuck, quite frankly. And it's not, oops, Laura, oops. And that's what it just went down into nothing, and then everybody was dismissive of it, and then you started to pull sides. So what do you learn out of this? Well, you learn that if you have something like that you want to present, you present it as your opinion, as something that you've done, and then you invite comments and you invite positive and constructive conversation, not the way it went. It just got ugly quick.
Well, the aspect of that too, and I've always been a real foe of absolute statements. And you have to not just be cognizant when you're publishing something, especially on a major podium like the Moz, not just be conscious of not making absolute statements that you can't back up, the old causation versus correlation thing, but you also have to be cognizant of the fact that the audience is going to read what they want to see. They're going to interpret your comments in the way that is most beneficial to their personal mindset, and they'll sometimes detect an absolute statement where an absolute statement wasn't made. And I think I saw a lot of that in that particular post, in that comment thread.
But you know what? It didn't help that the Moz staff came on and said, in hindsight, that might not be the greatest thing going. That instead of coming in, I guess, and trying to lead the conversation, which I don't know their policy, so I can't tell you that that's what they do or not do. But in my experience, the past on reading Moz stuff,
Don't they call it moderating your comments?
I think so.
Didn't they just throw Josh under the bus, though? Really?
Kind of, yeah.
So let me respond to some of this stuff. Let me respond. So one, I have to disagree a little bit. I can back it up. I have shown that they have not proved a pure disavow has worked.
Yeah, but you've only shown that to yourself. You've not shown that to anyone else. All we have is your word.
No.
Which doesn't stand for anything. See that?
Josh, so that was actually what you were basing that on, was the previous post on Moz by someone who's held in high esteem over there.
And again, guys,
Was that it? Is that
people have made stranger claims in this industry over the last 4 or 5 years and not been roasted as bad for it. I agree with Debra the way the whole drama played out. I didn't actually go in because I just don't care. I didn't read much of it.
Well, hold on a second, David. Hold on. So let me respond. I mean, I wasn't going out to provide a knockdown proof. I wasn't going out to provide an experiment. I used that word colloquially in my video. I probably shouldn't in hindsight, as if I was trying to provide like the proof for E equals MC squared here. All I'm saying is, look at it. All these people are saying that a pure disavow works. I've tested every single one who had the gumption to send me a URL. None of them had a pure disavow. So that's, I mean.
But again, but even for me, I do a lot of forensics. It's my mainstay. Even simply within 30 seconds, my brain's going, what markets are they on? What query spaces are we in? What size of the link profiles? What percentage of these link profiles are toxic? And those are like just questions off the top of my head, and again and again. And are those questions being answered with it? I don't think so. But again, if you preface anything in this industry with "this is my personal opinion," I think you're safe. Go right the fuck ahead and say whatever you want. Just don't try. Nobody should ever try and be definitive. And again, I haven't even watched the fucking video, dude. So I don't know how you were coming across or anything. I just know you from talking to you and stuff like that. So, if you had come across as definitive, I could see where that's a problem.
Maybe I speak with authority just from habit, being the blowhard that I am. But of course, I was putting across my opinion, and it says right across the top, this is Josh's opinion. This is not our opinion. The other thing I want to mention is that I have to disagree a little bit I'm sorry I don't know your name, Debra. I have to respectfully disagree a little bit around conduct. Maybe it's because I come from a martial arts background. I have 3 black belts.
So, dude, I got 26 years in, so I know that potential for aggressiveness.
Well,
part of the martial arts is about control as well.
Oh, you're absolutely right. But when someone starts chucking leather at my head, when they say they're going to go 60%, they start dropping kicks into my face, I'm going to respond. I don't care, I don't care what people's opinions are about what the proper way of responding is. Now, and that's what happened, right? I said this thing, obviously I ticked them off, they took offense, they started attacking me personally, and then I responded in kind. You can just take my word for it, that's what happened, because Marj went in and deleted all those comments and said we're all making personal attacks. But that's what happened. If Marj wanted me to respond in any particular way when I was providing them free content and freely managing their board for them, if they wanted me to respond in any particular way, all they had to do was tell me. They vetted the video. They were perfectly happy with the video. They vetted the video twice. I said, you guys sure you want to do this? So, oh, yeah, it's great, good. I said, okay, great. They didn't tell me, they told me get onto the comments right away. That's all they said. They didn't tell me how they wanted me to respond at all, any way, shape, or form. I would have been perfectly happy responding in a tag-free way. That's their acronym. If they'd only told me to do so. So.
Hey, Josh. Like David, I never watched the video because basically what everyone was saying.
Because we've seen every drama for the last 15 fucking years. I don't care anymore.
But what I'm wondering, Josh, at any point did you point out the fact that it wasn't a purely disavowed, but that there were deletions? Did you point that out specifically?
He did, yes.
Well, then, what the fuck? What, these people all stupid or what?
No, I think a lot of the drama did come from the comment thread. One of our viewers, someone named Majestic SEO, I don't know if it's probably not Dixon, but I don't know. Somebody over at Majestic says in the Q&A says, so who lost the most of this? Josh, the guys he disagreed with, or the Mozzers in general for the comment thread? I think here's my answer to this one. The industry lost.
Yeah.
We all just lost by looking at it.
Well, we did lose some hours of the week.
Oh, sorry, Deb, go ahead.
I disagree. I think what this came back out and made a real good point is that how you argue your case is a lot to do with the outcome. You just said, Josh, that you didn't know that Marj wanted you to respond in their tag-a-fee manner. I mean, anybody who goes on that site realizes that they push that and how they want that done. I don't think that that's a good excuse. What happened, whatever your opinion was in your piece, is your opinion. If Marj wanted to vet that and say it was okay to put, that's their doing. I have no issue with any of that from this piece. I don't agree with some of it, but that's beside the point. But what happened in the comments, it was childish, and it denigrated into something that was, I thought it was just uncalled for, and it spawned other things to happen because of the tone that was in there. It's if someone's going to threaten you with physical harm, God forbid, I hope that never happens. But you know what? You just have to ignore the trolls and move on. You can't answer them. It just doesn't help anybody.
I'd say
I have to disagree. It's my life. I can conduct myself the way I like, and
Yeah, but
I
not
really
on
didn't actually do anything that bad. If you read my comments, they're the ones who started to attack me. I have no problem slinging mud. I've spent far too much of my life being nice to people who are not nice. So I'm sorry about that.
Can I say something? The internet is loaded with trolls. That's the bottom line. And to take it personally, you can rise above it, and you don't even have to be nice about it. Just be factual.
I believe I was. Say no. I said I was being factual. I didn't take it personally.
I didn't watch your video. I just read the text of your content. And from my point of view, 12 sites, and that's rock solid proof. I don't know if it is or not. And like everybody in the dojo, I know that, it's all dependent on something else. So there's no absolutes in SEO. I know that to be true. So, but I've been attacked in forums before or felt attacked.
Sure.
It just happens. People under the anonymity of the internet will say and do things they would never say or do to your face.
I'm afraid so.
Oh, I know so. I've been watching this for years. I should have been an internet anthropologist.
I can commiserate with Josh, though, because I often get complaints on Google Plus that I'm too aggressive, and when I write it, I don't even realize I'm being aggressive. It's just me. I mean,
well, we're Canadian.
Terry, aggressive? I can't believe it.
Quite frankly, we're Canadian, right? Canadians, I find, are a little bit more scrappy and not afraid to mix it up a little bit.
Well, we have confidence too. We don't say, personally, I don't say shit, and I think my confidence comes across as arrogant and whatever else, but I really don't give a fuck. So,
Can't see why it would come across as arrogant, Doc.
Ditto. With all the pros and cons attendant there too, ditto.
I think that's why we get along so well.
I would maintain that people do give one because they're here arguing their case. So if you're here arguing your case, then you do care. And, for me, if I was going to publicly blog or be on Moz and I had that kind of reaction, I just don't think that I would let it have gotten quite as ugly as it did. And at some point in time, you just have to review, like Marj said, you got to ignore the trolls.
Sometimes it ends well. That's how I met Dave. Really was me coming on real strong to him.
Basically, we met was back having an argument on spin back in the day.
Yeah, I basically said Dave was an idiot. All kinds of stuff. But
wait a minute, Terry. I thought I was your idiot back from the WPW.
I got many.
Another thing about, commenting on the internet and comments and, interpreting them, the written word can never convey, precisely the spirit of the comment. So even if you, intended your responses to be factual, people will interpret them as being snarky or evil, and it's just your choice of words, so everybody's got their own damn filters. That's the bottom line. And my mantra when I'm feeling a reaction is, respond, don't react, and I usually will sleep on it before I come back. But I understand, Josh, you were under pressure by Moz to respond to the comments.
And how many times, Marj, have you and I in private chats discussed things like that? And I tell you, you're far too nice. You're
absolutely. I mean, I get that from you all the time. I'd kick the guy to the curb. It's just like, he's just,
well,
feeling
in
it.
that regard, I can kind of understand where Josh is coming from. When somebody throws leather at your face, you drop them.
I don't know. We'll revisit with Josh in a couple of years and see where he's at.
And there you have it, folks. You can make up your own minds as to what you think about all that. Be sure to join us every Friday at SEOTrainingDojo.com. We have our Friday chats, and we're happy to see you there.